Hi, I'm Jill Schiaparelli. Welcome to HealthTech Talk live on the iHeart radio platform and being broadcast to you worldwide. We're here today on the floor of the UBM Canon Medical Design and Manufacturing Conference in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're talking to people from all areas of medical device innovation and design. And with me today is Bill Betten. Bill is the Director of Business Solutions for Devicix, a contract design and manufacturing group. He brings more than 35 years of product development experience to our discussion, and it's an honor to have you here, Bill. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
This is a fantastic conference. There's an electricity about it. The floor has not been dead for 1 minute all day, and I know you have been a featured speaker at this conference. You were speaking on the Internet of Things.
Yes.
That's an industry buzz phrase to be sure, but let's start with an easy question. What is the Internet of Things?
Oh, great. Hey, you're right. It's a buzzword of actually many industries, and my focus today was on the impact it's going to have on healthcare. So the Internet of Things basically describes a bunch of sensors, let's say, a bunch of things that are connected. They have software, electronics, some form of communication, and what they do is they take that information, manipulate it, move it around, and send it somewhere else, and allow people to take it to the cloud, analyze it, and understand what's going on. So, quick
Fantastic.
definition.
It sounds like almost a transportation system in some ways.
Actually, it is. It's a transportation of information in the
Right.
medical world off my body
Right.
to my physician or a clinician who's going to understand and interpret it. So I'm just taking
And then
information
take
from me
action.
and sending it somewhere else. Well, the action piece is always an interesting challenge.
Well, so let's now get more specific with that. How will the development and the adoption of the Internet of Things affect medical device manufacturers, and what should they be thinking about if they're possibly going to get involved with this?
Well, the first thing they have to think about is the connectivity of the devices. Medical technology has been isolated for many years and kind of exists in its own world. One of the big changes is now they're using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all this commercial technology, or sending it to a phone or something like that. So they need to understand how they're going to connect. Then they have to understand the user context, because no longer is it necessarily a trained doctor or a nurse using it. It could be a caregiver that's not very well versed on the physiology who has to understand what's going on. It could be my 83-year-old mother using a device at home and trying to understand it. So they need to understand who the user is, how they're going to get the information, and what they're going to do with it when they get it. And so it drives some pretty fundamental changes potentially in medicine.
It certainly sounds like it would. In addition to the Internet of Things, which I do love that phrase, IoT, what are some other trends and hot topics that you've been observing recently in your career in medical device and diagnostics?
One of the biggest things that's happening is medicine going home. You know, in the old days, they used to have the days of the house call and the doctor would come to you. Well, today the doctor's not coming to you, but your information in that transportation system we talked about is actually going to go to them. So as we age, as we deal with chronic diseases longer and longer, we're going to be able to take devices that will measure, monitor, and look at what's going on and be able to send that information elsewhere, hopefully allowing us to age in place. The surveys show that, or studies show that, if you're aging at home with people you know in an environment that you care about, you get well faster, or at least your quality of life is certainly higher. The cost is certainly a lot less, and we're all about cost in healthcare today, and spending your time in hospitals and other environments is expensive. So one of the big trends is the portability of technology, getting it out of the hospital, getting it into the home, and allowing you to be connected in ways that you never thought you were going to be connected before. Perhaps that doctor will make the new house call because he's on the other side of a video screen talking to you at home after having reviewed your data coming into it.
Right. What is the type of infrastructure that clinicians will need to interact with this type of information? What will they need to do to prepare, and are we ready?
Well, that's an interesting one because the biggest issue is going to be we're going to pull new data together in ways that have never been done before. I'm an old pulse ox guy, and so we did pulse oxygen really well. But then you need to now tie that to ECG and into EEG and into your sleep patterns and all of that. So one of the biggest changes is going to be all this new information that's coming in, and how are you going to make sense out of it?
Right.
And who's going to make sense out of it? You know, the med device manufacturers will be able to collect it but they're not the repository for the final amount of the information. And so who's going to do that analysis and understanding of it?
It sounds like we're going to have to all work that out together.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a collaborative environment of everybody from the device manufacturers like myself or my customers. You're going to have the caregivers. You have an issue with the payers. The healthcare insurance companies have got an issue. The hospitals are going to face up to this. So we're all kind of in it together, and we're going to have to solve that problem together.
Right, but the end result, it sounds like it's going to be extremely worth it.
I hope so.
A lot of benefit.
There's a lot of potential benefit there, a lot of chance to improve outcomes, a lot of chance to look at things in new ways. So I'm very excited about it. The one thing that's really clear after many years of being in and around this business, it's changing so dramatically. And so if it's a confluence of a lot of really fun stuff, whether it's consumer, whether it's medical, it's all kind of coming together, and it's an exciting time if you're accepting of change. If you want the old ways of doing things, then perhaps it's not quite so much fun.
Sure, I can understand that. So back to the conference, you're here with us in Philadelphia, a lot of activity. Why is it valuable for you personally and Devicix to be at a conference like the UBM conference we're at today?
It's really important because much of the information could be gathered over the internet, and you can look at things coldly and statistically and say, here's what's provided, and I need a widget manufacturer, I'll go find a widget manufacturer. One of the keys for conferences like this and the ability to walk the floor is relationships.
Right.
It's still about talking to people, kicking the tires, having the conversation, and looking at picking a partner who's going to be a true partner and not just sell you something once. It's about building and establish a relationship that could last for 10 years, 15 years, and it's finding the right people that you know and trust. Sometimes it's coming here and seeing the same people you've seen for the last couple of shows or the last years. It's old home day to some extent, but it's also finding those new people you want to partner with.
Right. Well, Bill, it's been a delight talking to you. Thank you so much for joining us. If people want to get in touch with you or learn more about Devicix, could you give us an email or a website to go to?
Absolutely. Betten, W-B-E-T-T-E-N, at Devicix, and I better spell that, DEVICix.com. Feel free to drop me a note, and I'm happy to talk to anybody about technology and where things are going.
Okay, great. And Devicix website address is?
www.devicix.com.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you again.
All right.
I'd like to thank UBM Canon for sponsoring the Medical Design and Manufacturing Conference. Special thanks to 1-800 Public Relations for their media and PR support. I'm Jill Schiaparelli for HealthTech Talk Live on the iHeart Radio platform. Have a great day.